Hello, good morning. It's Friday the 26th. I'm FX Plu, and I start with a public service announcement because there were a few upload issues on LinkedIn yesterday, and that also affected the Twitter post. So if you're ever missing out on your daily fix, you can also find me at FX Plu on Instagram, or the audio is published on our Beyond Currency podcast. But anyway, all that done, onwards with today's market brief. So dear old Sunak is looking at economic stimulus, and any action he takes needs to have a pretty immediate effect on the economy. Politically, of course, it will also help to be highly visible and easily understood. So the proposed reduction in VAT really hits the bullseye. It's a headline catcher, it will be immediate, and it can be used to attract footfall into the shops, giving consumers more bang for their buck. It also serves as a strong notice of intent, which can only help his reputation. However, he will need to balance the books at some time, and in order to pay for any VAT cut, income tax may need to be increased in due course, and that flies in the face of Tory tradition of lower personal taxation. So when the time comes to pay the piper, he may struggle to sell an increase in income tax to the Tory grassroots support. But I'm sure for now he can just get on with it and worry about that as and when the time comes. Yesterday in the market, it was another pretty quiet day for sterling. We saw it trade either side of the 124 mark against the dollar. Over in the US, Kudlow's been on again. He's saying that there'll be no further nationwide lockdown due to COVID-19, and although expert advice is of course to the contrary, he claims that there'll be no significant second spike. So any hotspots or flare-ups, as he called them, will need to be dealt with locally, and the federal government will just provide assistance. But the apparent lunacy of the administration is having an effect in the polls. A West Coast University poll yesterday put Joe Biden 13% ahead of dear old Donald. Of course, that's not an unassailable lead, but it's worth watching for how Trump will try to close that gap, as it will likely produce some short-term effect on the economic outlook, of course, and that may trickle down to the dollar. The market, though, looks to be biding its time ahead of non-farm payrolls next week, and the dollar index remains within a well-established boundaries, currently around 97.50. In the Eurozone, a week has passed since the summit where the Pandemic Relief Fund was supposed to be agreed, and there's been no further movements. Classic EU. But instead we've seen Spain drop the quarantine for UK tourists, and a similar decision is expected from France and Germany. So I'm going to have a punt on flights to France before that decision's made, because when it's made, those prices are going to go up. See that? Not just a pretty face. Euro dollar, that's been pretty quiet as well. Yesterday we saw it trade between 111.90 and 112.60, and we may well see things just continue to drift into the weekend. So have a great day. Hopefully the weather holds out across the weekend as well. You get to enjoy some of the sunshine. Me, I'm off bargain hunting on booking.com. Toodaloo.
If you do not have a clue, then just tweet through and ask FX Blue.